Hey, good morning, fellas. It's the 17th of October. It's just after 4:38. I had to go back to the house. I'm about a third of the way through my walk. The wind's been pretty crazy up here, but it's definitely much colder. I think it's like 54, 53, 54 degrees. So I got about halfway up the street and went back for my coat. Well, this thing. This was a gift to me when I was a supervisor in the Disabled American Veterans. I used to work for them before I went to work for the Veterans Administration when I got out. What I want to talk to you this morning about is being prepared. I don't know if you've ever seen any of the maps where they show the globe, the earth, flattened out. Not flat earth, but they took the globe and they flattened it out, and they show what happens if we have a super big pole shift. Well, let me just get to the point. There's a reason why I live here in El Paso, Texas. As far as I can tell from those maps, this area is one of the areas that will survive. So I've made a place for myself here because of that fact. Being prepared includes being physically prepared, mentally prepared. I can tell you, I would have to say the most horrible, terrible things I ever saw in my life were in Bosnia during the genocide there. But they called it ethnic cleansing. It was unbelievable. And I'm talking to you, second on that list was El Salvador. Hopefully it doesn't get too crazy. The amount of death that happens in a civil war or during civil unrest is pure insanity. Let me say good morning. It's all right, ma'am. It's all right. I'll go out to the street. Don't worry about it. Yes, ma'am, of course. The temperature changed very dramatic. You have a good day. Yes, ma'am. But those two were number 1 and 2, and then you had Guatemala had a civil war. Nicaragua had a civil war, and we would stay on the border of Honduras and El Salvador. That's, if you ever want to look up some place in the bay of Nicaragua and Honduras and El Salvador, and that there's a little tiny island out there called Tiger Island where things went bump in the night. So all that to say this, I think something's going to happen. I think that the Chinese are at the breaking point. Their money's collapsing. No one wants the yuan, which is their version of the dollar. And I think one of the only last gasp they can do is to start a fight with Taiwan over reunification. So they've been acting kind of crazy. You got the Middle East growing in its expansion, but the major difference is back in the day, the United States, our country, would park a battle group off the edge of your coast of that country and tell them to all settle down, and they'd end up working it out. Only problem is U.S. isn't doing that anymore. We're not in the business of being the world police. It never paid off for us. We brought economic freedom to China and they fucked us. We brought economic freedom to Europe and they fucked us. So we're going to sit this one out. I really don't see us getting involved in a major conflict unless they attack the United States. And there's far too many people coming here for refuge instead of trying to tear the place apart. Are there going to be some bad actors? Yes, probably. But I don't think it's going to be anything like the rest of the world. If I counted correctly yesterday, currently there's 43 armed conflicts going on. You don't really hear too much about the Sudan or Africa or Ethiopia or Egypt or all of those guys, but they're fighting over water. I mean, anyways, my point is, you have to be prepared. One of those things that you can let slide is being physically prepared. You should know how to fight. And you should practice fighting with an unwilling opponent. Next thing you need to do is you need to have some money set aside. Money that you don't even worry about. To you, it's already spent. That's pennies, nickels, dimes, quarters, 50-cent piece if you can find an American dollar, or a what's it called, the Sacagawea dollar. That looks too much like a quarter for me, but you want $1 bills, if you can find them, $2 bills, $5 bills, $10 bills, $20 bills, $100 bills, and that's it. And you should have more little change than you do big change, because you don't want to get caught with a $100 bill and you need water, a bottle of water, because all of a sudden the price for that $1 bottle of water to you is now $100, and you're assed out after that. So that's what I mean by being prepared. 20-pound bag of rice doesn't cost that much. 20-pound bag of beans doesn't cost that much. Some canned meat doesn't cost that kind of much. It's shelf stable. It'll last for a very long time. And what you're looking for, if shit hits the fan, you're looking for calories. You're not looking for health necessarily. I believe there's a way. I think it's a Mini Meatballs. Chef Boyardee. Mini Meatballs has some of the best caloric value for you. So, anyways, and I'm just talking to you. This is all for entertainment purposes. But I'd rather see you prepared and not need it than to not be prepared and need it. Being in need when everybody else is in need is a bad sign. I also don't think bugging out unless you have a well-stocked and provisioned place to go makes any sense. And it's why I don't live in a city, but I also don't live in a rural country area. I live in a walled community called El Paso, Texas. And I live where all of my neighbors, we know each other. We have a phone tree. We talk to each other. We're all well armed. I think I'm the only one that gets up this early to go walking. Here we're at the turnaround point. See, they finally built the wall up a little bit. I'm getting ready to tag that bad puppy. That's the turnaround point. So I think it'd be better for you to be prepared than unprepared. And I say this a lot, and the guys give me a hard time about that in practice. All right, coach, we get it. You can't call fucking timeout in real life. You can't hit pause in real life. You can't say, hey, look, I'll be back in a week when I get in better shape. That's not how life works. So, and if you get to the point to where someone wants to take something from you, is willing to be violent with you, to take something from you, then I believe you should strike first. And it's easier to ask for forgiveness than permission. I'm not trying to scare anybody, but if you look at it, things are starting to crank up. And I'm talking at the macro level, not the micro level. Here in El Paso, we're going to be okay. No matter what happens, if the disaster map is correct. If it's not, well, then we're all fucked. But anyways, I'd rather be prepared than unprepared. Am I worried? Not really. Because I remember in the 1960s and 70s, do you remember that? What was that, 10 years we were going to run out of oil? Do you remember when the polar ice caps were going to collapse? I think that was the 90s, when Al Gore, what a fucking dickhead. All this climate bullshit is about his stupid speech on an inconvenient truth. What an absolute dickhead. Anyways, what else? Do you remember when the ozone layer was going to be depleted and we were going to just get wiped out? I mean, every decade there's some world-ending catastrophe that we have to spend trillions and trillions of dollars on. And if you ask the guys, what are you basing this on? Like climate science. Who really knows about climate science? Climate science. They don't really know what the hell they're talking about. Anyway, meanwhile, the world keeps turning. We're going to be okay, but you got to be prepared. That's all I'm saying. Keep your gas tank full. You don't want to be waiting in a line that's 50 cars long, and then they run out of gas. Keep an extra can of gas if you can. And the gas for me, for the car and the extra gas, I keep extra propane bottles to run the gas grill. I have charcoal, all that kind of stuff. I have wood, but I don't have enough to live 5 years with that. I could maybe stretch it out for a year. Maybe. But I don't intend to, well, I'll tell you this, you need to know where the food distribution places are, because they're going to, if you remember how insane people got over just toilet paper and paper towels during COVID. I mean, there were people fist fighting over that shit. That's interesting. It's just because it's been so windy and the temperature's changing. Things are making weird noises. But this is just a rambling old man. Prepare for the worst and be happy when it doesn't happen. I'm not encouraging it, but it's one of the reasons I'm up at 4 o'clock in the morning out here walking, putting in my 100 push-ups, 100 abdominal exercises. And because it doesn't cost you anything, you can get one of the best workouts of your life continuously with the 35-pound, 25-pound, 10-pound kettlebell, as you can with, I don't know, 1,000 pounds of Olympic weights. Functional strength is way more important than bodybuilding. I think that's about it for me. There is somebody coming. I'm gonna let you guys go. You guys stay safe and healthy. Take care of each other if you can. If you can, you take care of yourselves. You're the prize, gentlemen. Like a fart in a G-string from West Texas, El Paso. I'm out of here. Bye-bye. How you doing? Good morning.